On behalf of the entire Destination BC team, we acknowledge with gratitude the Musqueam Indian Band, the Squamish Nation, and the Tsleil-Waututh Nation, on whose shared territories we operate our main office. We also want to recognize the lands of the First Nations all across British Columbia, where we at DBC are so fortunate to carry out our work in partnership with Indigenous Tourism BC, as well as many others. June 21st is National Indigenous Peoples Day. It takes place on summer solstice, the longest day of the year, and for generations, many First Nations, Inuit, and Métis communities have celebrated their cultures, languages, and traditions at this time. And if you want to learn more about ways to recognize and celebrate this day, please visit the website of our partners and good friends at Indigenous Tourism BC by going to indigenousbc.com. And lots of events taking place for the whole month of June, and in particular around June 21st. Today, we are here to talk about one of the most exciting global events coming to our doorstep, the FIFA World Cup, which arrives in Vancouver in June and July of 2026. It is more than just a tournament. It is literally a once-in-a-generation opportunity to showcase our city, our province, and our people to the world, and to share how the city of Vancouver and the province of British Columbia are preparing to make the most of this moment. We are joined by a fantastic lineup of leaders who are helping to shape the path forward. We will be joined by Jessie Adcock, who is the lead of the FIFA World Cup 2026 Vancouver Host Committee, and Lisa Pilling, who is the project director, Tourism Renewal Branch in the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport. And I'll come back after Lisa to talk a little bit about how the tourism industry in the province is being organized to help capitalize on the visibility of this event and to ensure that it is celebrated in Vancouver and around the province as well. Together, you're going to learn about the planning underway and the opportunities ahead for our communities, our tourism sector, and the BC economy. First, I'm pleased to welcome Jessie Adcock, the lead for the FIFA World Cup 2026 Vancouver Host Committee. Jessie brings a wealth of experience in civic leadership and digital transformation, having served in senior roles with the City of Vancouver, with the feds, and in the private sector. She is now leading the city's preparations to ensure that Vancouver is ready to host the world, delivering an event that is memorable, inclusive, and impactful for residents and visitors alike. Over to you, Jessie.
I'm still recovering from the goosebumps from that video, Maya. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate the opportunity here to speak to this group. Together, I think all of us are responsible for showcasing our city and our province. So I'm really excited to be able to share a little bit more information about what's coming, and also sort of peel back some of the curtains on the planning activities. So if we could get to the next slide and have our reality check. The first thing that we really want to, I think, impart is that we are 1 year away. And so whilst we've been planning for much of this event for many years, including the bid process, and I know, numerous folks across the province have been, involved in this for some time, we are really now in crunch time. And so this is where I think there will be a lot more visibility and awareness building with respect to the fact that the World Cup is coming, that Vancouver is a host city. So as we near that mark, I think some of the key numbers that everyone should just be aware of is the fact that we have 7 matches in Vancouver. There are 13 matches total. Toronto has 6, and the concept of Cascadia, which I'll touch on in a bit. So next slide, please. For context, just, North America is not yet a big soccer market like Europe and South America and other places. And so one of the things that we in North America don't all appreciate in the same way is that the World Cup is the most viewed competition on earth. So if we take the viewership of all the other major sporting events and combine them all, World Cup still has more viewership. So what that means for us, it's not necessarily visitors coming in physically, but what it represents for us is a massive global branding opportunity. So we will have the world's eyes on us. And so in addition to the traditional visitor traffic that we get, there is a massive marketing opportunity here for us in this province and this country and this continent for that matter. Next slide, please. So this is the largest World Cup in FIFA history. So we have basically the largest number of teams, the most number of matches, and an expectation that those viewership numbers that I just shared with you are going to increase even more. 7 of the 104 matches will be played in Vancouver, 13 if we count Vancouver and Seattle combined, 13 if we factor Canadian matches. But what you see in front of you is the 16 host cities, which is also the largest number of host cities that have ever endeavored to put on a coordinated World Cup. So as you can imagine, we live in a place where these cities are all quite distinct from one another. And what we're trying to do is deliver a coordinated experience for fans so that visitors coming from out of North America can come and experience a similar type of journey, whether they have tickets to a match in Boston or tickets to a match in Miami or tickets to a match in Vancouver. So there's this element of like coordination across those, but then there is this augmentation of experience that we can provide locally. We anticipate actually that there will be quite a bit of demand for the Vancouver matches, for a number of reasons that I'm sure everyone can infer, but there are a lot of reasons why we believe that Vancouver will be highly in demand. Next slide, please. So this is the match schedule, which is a lot of boxes and a lot of colors on a slide. But I think that, you know, for those of us that are not World Cup football/soccer people, this is very confusing. And how do we begin to make sense of this? On the other end of the spectrum, for the people that are football/soccer people, they know how to read this very quickly. They can take from this, you know, where groups will be. There are group stage matches that happen, and then from group stages you move on to the sort of the knockout rounds, and from there to the semifinals, the finals, etc. So it's a progression through the stages of the tournament. But folks that are planning their travel will have a sense of where they want to go, whether they want to decide based on geography, whether they want to decide based on following a certain team or a combination of teams, or whether they want to group cities together. So the 16 cities have been grouped logically in a way into four quadrants, and therefore there'll be a lot of thought and consideration applied by people choosing their travel paths and the strategies for getting tickets using this information. On the right side, what you see is sort of like our estimation of when we think the match windows will be inside of Vancouver. So our understanding, and all of this is not set in stone until December when teams are drawn. So up until then, there is an element of like guessing that is involved, but we believe that all of our matches will take place between a window of noon to 8 local time. So that's kind of helpful for planning here locally, and that's based on time zones globally. So whilst this slide may look very busy, I encourage people to take it away. I'm assuming that the slides at some point will be available, but this is all publicly available information on FIFA's website as well. Next slide. So one huge opportunity I think that we shouldn't underestimate is the Cascadia opportunity. We really believe that folks will look at Vancouver and Seattle as a combined opportunity. And so we are working very closely with our colleagues in the Seattle Host Committee, as well as I know that Destination Seattle and other marketing organizations within Seattle are working with Canadian partners as well. The province and the state are working together, and obviously the two countries are working together. Next slide, please. So one of the opportunities is obviously, you know, this is just a visual representation of how you can overlay the matches in the two cities together. So as a tourist or a soccer fan deciding to come here, you could see that there are a number of matches that line up, and there really is a big opportunity to leverage the proximity of the two cities. Next slide. This is an understanding of how we are organized at a very high level. We have FIFA that is headquartered in Zurich, Switzerland. They've established a World Cup headquarters in Miami, and they've established a chief tournament officer in each one of the 3 countries. Each one of the 16 cities has a host committee, and I'm coming to you live as the leader of our Vancouver host committee. Next slide. So just again, to give a little bit of an understanding around how we are organized here, FIFA does its agreements and its kind of logistics, organization, project delivery, tournament planning with cities themselves. So the cities are generally the lead delivery agency, and that is the case with us. City of Vancouver is the lead delivery agency here, but we could not do this alone. There are a number of partners that are required. And so we have with us in the delivery of all of this key partnerships with Vancouver Park Board for the use of their, for the Killarney community center and surrounding areas to put in a training site. Pavco, obviously the stadium is a huge component. YVR, working closely with them. And then we have an integrated safety and security unit, which I'll touch on in a bit. And then the PNE, where we'll be hosting our fan festival. None of this would be possible without sponsorship and support from the province of British Columbia and the government of Canada, both of whom are significant contributors to this. Obviously, our First Nations on whose lands we will be hosting the tournament, and then our designated promotional and marketing partners. Next slide, please. We have a number of activities that are organized through a variety of work streams. And so, just to give a sense of the scope and scale of it, though it's only 7 matches, there is a significant amount of work and organization that is going into the delivery of those 7 matches. So in the background, we have work streams around how we deliver training sites and base camps for Team Canada, a very significant coordinated approach to safety and security, readiness around the city, from the basics of permitting and licensing to the macro planning around transportation and mobility. Soon we'll start to see information come up around a very large scale volunteer program. And then there are, the very sort of, I would say, understood concerns around human rights and sustainability. And so we are working on all of those. Next slide. So this is the footprint. And I think, again, like you can see that there are not a number of different sites. And so one of the tendencies that I have witnessed being a part of this project is that we really do default to our 2010 experience. So our 2010 experience is very important because we build on the foundation that was created for putting on major sporting events. And so we definitely take advantage of that, and we can leverage a lot of the processes, systems, and talents that was created. However, in terms of, I would say, attributes of a major sporting event, they are quite different. This is 7 matches over the period of 6 to 7 weeks, concentrated in one location. We aren't building, Olympic Village. We're not building the Richmond Oval. We're not building a whole bunch of infrastructure on our local mountains and up at Whistler. We don't have that challenge. What we do have is matches that are carry a very, very unique, security profile. We have a lot of visitors coming in from out of town. We are a province and a city that is one of the most diverse on the planet. So irrespective of the teams that we draw, we expect there to be a lot of excitement generated in the city. And we have to make sure that we have safe movement of teams, staff, visitors in between these venues. And so just to put that out there in terms of like just the kind of Olympics to World Cup comparative paradigm. So next slide, please. So the stadium and the surrounding area is, I think, a very key element that is important to understand. So if one can visualize, you will basically, in and around BC Place, have an extended zone that will be fenced off, and the area inside the fence will be for ticketed visitors, and outside of the fence, obviously, for non-ticketed. And I think we've probably all seen some documentaries on Netflix around how that can go, but we're working very hard to make sure that things are safe. Expectations are that the areas around BC Place, so now we're talking False Creek area, where the Cirque du Soleil typically is deployed, in and around Plaza of Nations, that will all be consumed as part of a large village. There'll be different activation zones, and we will have access control beyond that point. There's going to be road closures and fencing. And so a lot of that information is still moving. And so we haven't completely shared out where the closures will be and what the closures will be and how long they will be. And that's not because we're holding back on the information. It's because we are still trying to determine the finite limits of when the openings and closings will be. And so in that respect, I think, folks, especially that are adjacent to downtown, can expect more information to come out in the next little while. But just for a visualization perspective, I think, it's sort of like a expo meets Cirque du Soleil type of thing. So in and around the stadium. Another key element to be mindful of is that the approach to the stadium for ticketed visitors will not be from downtown and Terry Fox Plaza. Normally we come in through BD Street, down Robson. And in this case, it's going to be approaches from the east and the west, from Yaletown SkyTrain Station and from Science World SkyTrain Station. And so it will be a little bit of a different experience. And then our hope is to be able to use that landscape for activation and dressing. And our intent is to create some of the best visual scenery amongst the 16 cities, because our city is just so beautiful. We know that it's going to look very good dressed up. Next slide, please. So the Fan Festival will be at the PNE. It is currently under planning, and so it will be something that we hope to broaden the ability to attend events. There are a finite number of tickets, obviously, that are available for the matches themselves. Those tickets will be, accessed via a lottery system. So one of the number one questions I get right now is how our ticket sales work. So I'll just sort of get ahead of that question and say everybody should go and register for the lottery right now on FIFA.com. FIFA manages ticket sales themselves, and so they will be the ones administering that. And so anybody with an interest in tickets, that call to action is there right now. Go register for the lottery. And if anybody participated in a Taylor Swift lottery for their kids or for themselves, it'll be very much like that. But please do that. So for those that don't have tickets, our goal is to provide a space at the Fan Festival that, again, provides a very electric atmosphere to enjoy matches from. Now, we're not yet sure how long it will be open, how many days it will be open. We're still working on all of that. Lots of considerations at play there, but it will be a very, very exciting experience at the Fan Festival. Next slide. Another question that comes up quite often is safety and security. So just to confirm, we have an integrated safety and security unit that is working nationally, locally, across borders, across all cities, in a number of different functional areas to ensure that we are prepared. And all agencies are working together. This represents probably I would say the largest component of planning for World Cup. And so, I just, again, like to just confirm to folks that this is something that is underway, because our goal is ultimately to provide a safe experience for all. Next slide. Last week was the 1 year to go celebration, and I'm assuming many folks on the call here would have participated or seen some of not participated so much, but have seen some of the coverage. That was marked by the unveiling of a countdown clock that is sitting at BC Place at Terry Fox Plaza that reminds us every day how many days are left. And so for the project managers like me, it creates a little bit of stress and anxiety, but also excitement. Over the coming year, there will be several marketing opportunities that we can piggyback off of. And I think that Destination BC will be able to provide some do's and don'ts in the near future. And they'll let Maya talk about some of that when she takes the mic back. But there will be a number of different marketing launches where Vancouver will have an opportunity to showcase itself or participate in a global marketing campaign led by FIFA. And so through Destination BC, we'll try to open up that opportunity to as many organizations as we can, provided they are all aligned in terms of marketing and brand playbooks. So we'll talk about that a little bit later on as well. Next slide. Perfect. Thank you. So this is the fan journey. This is how we hope that everyone can segment their perspective on what will happen in the city. And if we can all segment our thought process along these lines, then the chances are that thematically we will all be lined up in terms of what our actions are. You know, obviously there's a component of arriving in the city, getting around the city, staying in the city or province, the experience in the city or the province, and what things visitors can look to kind of augment their soccer experience with, the fan festival, the stadium, and then their departure. And so our hope is that we can all align around these to create, I would say, like a maximum opportunity. Next slide, please. So on the theme of opportunities, you know, we have the ability to amplify those marketing milestones that were shown on that. We'll have an opportunity to have events that are adjacent, maybe not official events, but events that can be aligned. You know, we'll be talking about opportunities with respect to how we decorate the city, volunteering as well, and then some of the pre and post match moments that we talked about a little bit. And so I think my final slide is just, again, how to stay connected with us, how to follow the information. You know, again, another difference and distinction between this sporting event and, you know, past major sporting events is that we don't have all the details yet. You know, we don't know which countries are playing where, et cetera. But what we do know is that when the matches are coming, what period those matches are on. And so there's lots that we can do now to be creative and thoughtful and start to prepare so that when some of the details get locked in, we're ahead of the game. And so I would encourage everybody to think about that. I would also encourage individuals, fans, to sign up to volunteer, sign up for the ticket platform, and then stay tuned for updates by signing up for our newsletter or following the team on social. So with that, I'm going to pass it off to Lisa. Lisa is a project director with the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport. She's leading teams in both the communications and tourism branches, has been over the past 6 years. And she's currently supporting FIFA related to tourism and economic growth opportunities through cross-government partnership. So passing the horn over to Lisa.
Thank you. Excuse me. Thank you, Jessie, for the update and for your leadership for the host city. The work you, your team, and city partners are doing is incredible. First slide, please. As Jessie mentioned, I work in the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture, and Sport, and I'd like to take a moment to share some of the cross-government work underway in preparation for World Cup. Our shared tourism goal is to build momentum, foster excitement, and create a magnetic draw that encourages visitors to choose Vancouver and BC, not only during the matches, but for the years that follow. And while I'll leave it to Maya to speak more about the incredible work our Crown Corporation has been leading, I want to highlight the outstanding collaboration that has taken place across partners. These include Destination BC, the Ministry of Jobs, Economic Development and Innovation, Government Communications, and several branches within our ministry, particularly the sport teams. I'd be remiss if I didn't mention all the work by the DBC team to develop the Iconics routes that we heard about recently and the perfect timing of the launch in the fall to engage visitors to put BC on their bucket list just ahead of the World Cup. A heartfelt thank you to Maya and the entire team at DBC. As I mentioned, World Cup has presented an opportunity for stronger collaboration with the teams at Jedi And earlier this year, both DBC and Jedi supported each other in Germany at trade shows. These coordinated efforts reflect a broader, deliberate strategy to leverage the World Cup as a catalyst for long-term economic and reputational gains for British Columbia. Last week, Premier Eby attended BC Week at the World Expo in Osaka, the first time an elected official has visited Japan's second largest metro area. This underscores the province's commitment to economic diversification. As you can see in the slide, in partnership with UBC and the Ministry of Forests, Premier Eby unveiled the world's first Canadian wood leather soccer ball, an innovation that drew media attention and participation from other FIFA host countries, including the United States, Mexico, and Qatar. While it is not the official game ball, it does match innovation and enthusiasm in BC. At home, Jedi continues to explore ways to spotlight BC businesses, Indigenous enterprises, and investment opportunities, all part of the World Cup legacy. Next slide, please. I'd also like to touch on the topic of accommodation and transportation in relation to hosting large events. In the past 12 months, BC has had phenomenal events in the Lower Mainland. Taylor Swift, Web Summit, Grey Cup, and the Invictus Games are just a few, which have provided excellent experience for us leading up to World Cup. It has also been a time of change as BC has introduced new short-term rental regulations and registration requirements. Other FIFA host cities such as Toronto, LA, New York, San Francisco, and Seattle also have STR regulations in place, so BC is not unique in this. Short-term rentals are still a tourism product in our province and add to the accommodation options for visitors, along with hotels, motels, and others. And as Jessie's detailed for us, the matches will take place in Vancouver, but thinking about a 2-hour travel radius from Vancouver for accommodation significantly increases lodging options and opens new markets for regional operators. Transportation will be key to the success of this. As Jessie mentioned, Vancouver is actively preparing to support the movement of people throughout the Lower Mainland, and our colleagues at the Ministry of Transportation and Transit are also working closely with provincial and federal partners to ensure seamless travel from border crossings and throughout the province. Thank you for being so proactive, YVR, regional airports, BC Ferries, Hello, Harbour Air, Helijet, and many others in supporting the increased capacity coming to BC. For tourism businesses, the World Cup is a chance to align with transportation hubs, offering packages, shuttles, or itineraries that make it easy for visitors to explore beyond the stadium and into your communities. Next slide, please. For anyone who had a chance to see the Invictus Games or experience the Olympics, major events inspire participation in sport. There is a coordinated effort between our ministry and local sport partners to ensure that excitement around the World Cup supports long-term engagement in sport. The team at the sport branch has been actively exploring ways to extend the excitement and impact of World Cup. This work is not just about the matches themselves, it's about using the momentum of World Cup to inspire the next generation of athletes, coaches, and community leaders. And it's the opportunity to act as a springboard to host more large-scale sporting events. The sport team is working across government as well as with other external partners, including sport organizations, to amplify these efforts and ensure alignment with broader provincial goals. In addition to event delivery, I'd like to note our partners at PAVCO have been leading the upgrades at BC Place Stadium and have undertaken extensive preparations for the matches and activities that will take place next year. The PAVCO team has been astute in their delivery of marquee events for BC and instrumental in building our reputation as a world-class sport host destination. We're also proud, as Jessie noted in the beginning, to be working alongside Indigenous communities, particularly Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh, on whose territories the Games will be held, to ensure their voices, cultures, and contributions are meaningfully represented throughout the event. From cultural programming to tourism experiences, Indigenous partners are helping shape a more inclusive and authentic story of BC, one that reflects our shared history and future. Next slide, please. Last week, we celebrated 1 year to go milestone in many wonderful ways. One of the ways, which was with monuments across the country lighting up in celebration. And I have to say, BC sure did us proud. From the Canada sign in Victoria's Inner Harbour to Mr. PG in Prince George and the Rambo chainsaw carving in Hope. It was inspiring to see communities big and small shine together for BC. Details on how to host World Cup related community events will be shared later this year through the FIFA Community Events portal, but we know lots of groups have been planning already, which is fantastic. And as I've said before, this is a shared opportunity. Don't wait, bring your ideas forward and help shape what the World Cup looks like in your region. Community celebrations will engage residents and our visitors and are a chance to showcase everything BC stands for, from our natural beauty and tourism hospitality to our multicultural communities, reconciliation efforts, and economic potential. Provincial ministries are also looking at ways to highlight what makes BC unique in advance of World Cup, such as Buy BC campaigns, cannabis education for visitors, emergency management planning, and amateur sports supports. I know Maya will highlight some unique resources that the Tourism FC has developed as well. We have more to share in the coming months, and I look forward to seeing more of the ideas, plans, and packages that showcase tourism regions, our tour operators, attractions, hospitality businesses, and many more. FIFA World Cup is a shared opportunity to elevate British Columbia's global profile and to grow your business in the process. Let's work together to make this a success for our visitors, our communities, and our province. Thank you for your time. I think Maya's up next.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Lisa. So let's talk a little bit more about how the BC tourism industry is being organized to help take advantage of this critical event. So next slide. In 2023, we formed the Tourism Consortium, and it was modeled off of what was done for the 2010 Winter Olympic Games. And the whole idea is to give our response to this opportunity a joint coordinated approach. And the committee includes a number of senior leaders from a cross-section of organizations in BC and tourism, from Destination Canada, Indigenous Tourism BC, the BC DMOA, the City of Vancouver, Destination Vancouver, the Ministry of Tourism, Arts, Culture and Sport, and of course, DBC as well. And for just some fun, we're calling ourselves the BC Tourism Football Club or BC Tourism FC. Next slide. We put together a strategy, and really, when we sort of distill it down, there really are two key opportunities that the strategy and our coordinated approach is designed to attain. The first is we want to maximize the experience and the revenue for Vancouver and for the province during these games. And given the provincial government's investment in this event, we want to ensure that areas across the province also benefit. But that's really during the games time. So how can we maximize the experience and the revenue during the games time? Equally important is also ensuring that we maximize the visibility of this event. So for the years following the games, how can we ensure that BC is able to attract more visitation, more revenue to this province? We have estimated that due to the visibility of the games, visitor spending in BC will increase by $1 billion in the 5 years following the games. That is not accounting for during games time, that is purely in the 5 years following the games. So that is a critical opportunity for us to take advantage of, to harness for this province. And I want to just also call out that our tourism marketing committee has been really important in advising us on ensuring that we really focus on what we're calling aversion prevention. How do we make sure that the rest of the province does not, is not impacted negatively from Vancouver, our core gateway community and city in the province. So we want to ensure that the rest of the province is able to take advantage and also be able to see economic benefit from hosting these games. The one-page strategy is available on bctourismfc.ca, and happy to share any of the more details around the strategy that's been developed if anyone has any further questions about it. On the next slide, Destination BC is overseeing the work of the steering committee to help, as I said earlier, to kind of coordinate the efforts of the various entities and maximize the visibility. And we're leading a number of working groups that are acting as advisory committees for the work that's being done. There's somewhere in the range of about 50 different organizations that are involved in various working groups that are part of the committee that are ensuring that we're benefiting not only Vancouver, but all areas of the province, including PAVCO, City of Vancouver, Destination Vancouver, of course, Destination Canada, BC Ferries, Prince George, 4TVI, so many more organizations. Next slide. And the way that we're organizing ourselves is really around two key audiences. The first, referring to it as industry. So this is the BC tourism businesses, the communities, the regions, the sectors, but it also includes our global travel trade and our global travel media as well. On the consumer side, these are people who are potential visitors to BC. They may be soccer fans who want to come and watch the games and participate in the FIFA Fan Festival and be in Vancouver. Or they're people who are coming, who are watching some of the games on TV and who are then inspired to want to come to visit Vancouver in the future and British Columbia in the future. So what I'm going to share on the following slides is how we're organizing, or some of the work that we're doing to support industry, and then some of the work that we're doing to gain awareness that Vancouver, British Columbia are hosting the games in 2026. So let's talk a little bit more about industry on the next slide. First off, we've created a little portal on our website. You can check that out at bctourismfc.ca. Lots of information here that's constantly being updated about, again, how we're organizing the BC tourism industry. And so I encourage you, there's a little QR code here. I encourage you to check that out. I think you can sign up for emails. There's also an email address if you have any particular questions that we can triage and send to the right organization to help get an answer for you. So I'll ask my colleagues perhaps to share the email address in the chat. On the next slide, we are in the process of developing what we're calling the BC Tourism FC Playbook. This is a document to help you understand how you can take advantage of the visibility from the FIFA World Cup coming to Vancouver. My colleague Margaret calls this the tools and rules document. So it is with FIFA right now for a review. And although we had hoped that we would have it ready for the call today, it's probably going to take a little bit longer. So it will be on the BC Tourism FC website very soon, and we'll send that out to anybody who is interested in learning more. It's got lots of information, again, about watch parties, activities, and ways that you can be engaged in your business and your community as well in the year ahead. On the following slide, we're also doing a lot of work with media, working with broadcasters, influencers, hosting international group press trips, sending out FIFA-themed story ideas and images to international media, and really preparing for, as soon as we know what teams are going to be playing, what countries are going to be playing in Vancouver, is really then dialing up these efforts to make sure that the broadcasters have everything they need to help make Vancouver and British Columbia shine during the FIFA World Cup. Working very closely with Destination Vancouver, our good friends at Destination Vancouver, and of course at Destination Canada, to make sure that we're making this city and this province shine as brightly as possible. Just some of the activities that we've done. We've hosted events in Sydney and London with 400 media present at each event to help promote the fact that we're hosting the games, meet with key media journalists and editors and broadcasters. We're actually this week hosting some media personalities. In particular, Claude Fabiano is here from Australia this week. He is an Australian footballer and TV personality, and he works for Australia's SBS, who has the FIFA broadcast rights. He's actually in Vancouver this week and Whistler, and interviewing some key soccer personalities and Whitecap players, and all of that should be aired in Australia next week. And in fact, Australia just qualified for the FIFA World Cup, so good timing there. Destination Vancouver has a FIFA media fam here right now with media from Australia, the UK, and a crew from South Korea as well. So lots of things that are happening behind the scenes that I think, again, will really help Vancouver and British Columbia shine more brightly than the other 15 cities we're hoping during the FIFA World Cup. On the next slide, we're doing a lot of work with international travel trade, our receptive tour operators, transportation partners, as Lisa referenced. We've got some co-op and training webinars that are taking place with some of our international trade partners. And recently we did an activation at Canada's largest travel trade event, which is called Rendezvous. It was held in Winnipeg at the end of May. And I'll just share a couple of slides, a couple of visuals from those events. Next slide. See a little flat sheet that we developed for our partners around the world, the buyers around the world, so that they were aware of what was happening, some of the additional content that's available, itinerary ideas, as well as offering support for travel trade partners that are looking at, developing itineraries to ensure that their guests are having a positive experience as they visit British Columbia in June and July of next year. On the next slide, we gave out some FIFA swag. Here you can see some of the beautiful FIFA Vancouver material that's been developed by FIFA to help celebrate FIFA Vancouver as a host city. On the next slide, a little visual, we had sports commentator Rod McCormick join us with 1,200 people in the audience of Canadians and international media, international buyers. I don't think we had a single dry eye walk out of that room. Everyone was out of their seats chanting and cheering. And I think on the next slide, we took a big selfie of everyone. So that's 1,200 people getting excited about Vancouver hosting the FIFA World Cup next year. So lots of excitement that was built at Rendezvous Canada. So let's shift gears and talk a little bit about some of the consumer-facing work that we're doing. So again, focusing on those international visitors to gain awareness of Vancouver, British Columbia hosting the games, the matches, and creating that desire to visit, whether it's during the games or in the years following in 2026 and beyond. So what we've done is, on the next slide, we've developed a little spot we're calling the Beautiful Seats. And the idea here is the matches may be the main event during the FIFA World Cup in 2026 in BC Place in Vancouver, but some of the best seats are beyond the stadium, where the mountains rise and the oceans meet the horizon. When the action pauses, dive into the energy of Vancouver or travel across British Columbia to explore coasts, skies, and peaks shaped by nature. Adventure isn't confined to the pitch. It stretches as far as you're willing to go. So I'll ask my team to share the video.
In 2026, the FIFA World Cup is coming to Vancouver, British Columbia, so you can experience the beautiful game from the best seats in the house and beautiful views from the best seats outside of it. The best seats await you in supernatural British Columbia. Learn how you can get yours at beautifulseats.ca.
And a couple of other visuals and some 10-second versions of the ads. So those are running in Germany, the UK, and China right now. We, of course, won't find out who is hosting, we will be hosting in until December. But we felt we wanted to get out and make sure that people were aware that Vancouver, British Columbia, we're hosting these games in 2026 to inspire that visitation this year and beyond. And I'm delighted to share that the campaign is only about a third of the way through. We've already accomplished 100% of our goals. So it is performing astronomically well. And I think there's lots of interest and enthusiasm and excitement about Vancouver hosting the games. So that's great news. We've got brand and content partnerships that are also taking place. Here's a little screenshot from the English version and the German version, deinbestaplatz.de. So yeah, lots of things that are happening in our international markets, again, to gain that awareness that Vancouver, British Columbia are hosting the games, and gain some awareness of things that you can do in Vancouver and beyond as well. So on the next slide, I wanted to just share something really fun that our good friends at Destination Vancouver did. If you play that little video, you can see. So while it looks like that's a real scarf, it is augmented reality, and I just thought this was such a fun way to celebrate 1 year out. So kudos to our friends at Destination Vancouver with dressing up the Burrard Bridge. So I think that takes us to the last slide. Just a little bit more about what's to come. We've got an opportunity that will be shared shortly around how you as a business and community can be part of the beautiful seats. We think the whole idea behind the campaign was to include all areas of BC. And so there'll be some fun things that will be coming. There'll be information in the playbook around how you can host watch parties next June, July. We'll be looking at packaging, how we can support 2-3 day getaways. If people are coming for the games, there are 2 to 4 days in between the games, between the matches in Vancouver, and opportunities for our international visitors to travel within Vancouver or more broadly around the province. So lots more to come. As Jessie said, sign up for the ticket lottery on FIFA.com. The tickets will become available in September. And I encourage you to stay up to date at BC Tourism FC so you can learn more about how we are organizing the BC tourism industry to help take advantage of the eyes being on Vancouver in 2026. So our last slide, just a quick shout out and a thank you to all of our speakers, Jessie and Lisa, for your insights and leadership. It's clear that there is a tremendous amount of work underway. And Jessie, I do not know how you are sleeping at night, but so much underway to help prepare the host city for the 7 matches in 2026. Your commitment to making this successful and a meaningful event is clear. And I know that you will make Vancouver and British Columbia shine in 2026. So thank you, everyone. Appreciate you attending. We've recorded this webinar, and it will be available to anyone who is interested in learning a little bit more at this point how we are organizing ourselves again to take advantage of this opportunity. A lot more to come. We'll have more industry webinars to share more about the work that's being done both at the local level in Vancouver as well as at the provincial level. So thank you so much. Appreciate everyone being here and being part of the call.